A blessed day to you all. My name is Peter Lino from Sydney, Australia. Welcome to Pathways of Hope. Our gospel for today is on the parable of the sower. If you're like me, upon hearing just the title alone, my immediate thought may have been, I already know this passage, and I can relate to those wherein the seed had landed on good soil, allowing God's words to bear fruit. My friends, I would like us to read this passage with somewhat a different perspective. Rather than seeing these as different groups of people, let us consider that Jesus is addressing us personally, and possibly we are or have been all of these at some point in our lives. When the large crowd gathered, with people from one town after another journeying to him, he spoke in a parable. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some seed fell on the path and was trampled, and the birds of the sky ate it up. Some seed fell on rocky ground, and when it grew, it withered for lack of moisture. Some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew with it and choked it. And some seed fell on good soil, and when it grew, it produced fruit 100-fold. After saying this, he called out, Whoever has ears to hear ought to hear. Some seed fell on the path and was trampled, and the birds of the sky ate it up. How many times in our lives wherein God has spoken to us, and unfortunately, we have instead allowed the noise around us to trample upon the very truth that Jesus has taught us. Trampled upon and taken away by the birds could be in the form of the many lies of Satan that bombard our lives every day, robbing us of the clarity of understanding and shaking the foundations of our Christian morals. Some seed fell on rocky ground, and when it grew, it withered for lack of moisture. Our lives will always have its share of challenges and setbacks. In spite of knowing and experiencing firsthand the love of Christ, have we allowed these rough experiences to discourage us and to cause us to doubt God's hand and work in our lives? Have we allowed fear to wither our faith rather than let God's joy be the moisture to sustain the growth of our faith? Some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew with it and choked it. Have we allowed sin to gradually creep into our lives, choking our faith, causing us to live double lives? Have we gotten weak in our resolve to cut off these thorns that bring about harm and death to our lives? And some seed fell on good soil, and when it grew, it produced fruit 100-fold. Good soil can be the result of having fertilized by one's living matter and waste. This so-called waste could be the very sins that we have managed to shed from our lives. The soil which has been nourished by having been through the pains and suffering of life and through the blood of Christ has allowed our lives to bear fruit. Dear friends, let us allow Jesus to continue to speak to us through parables, trying to understand them by always inclining our ears toward Him and enabling the Holy Spirit to nourish the seed of God's love planted in our hearts. May we all have a blessed day.